welcome to Palakkad, the gateway to Kerala, a land where history, culture and nature blend in harmony. Palakkad has always been of great strategic importance. The Palakkad Fort, built by Hyder Ali in 1766, stands tall as a symbol of its past. Over centuries, the region has witnessed the rule of the Samoans, Mysore Sultans and later the British. Palakkad is blessed with lush paddy fields, rolling hills and tranquil rivers. The Malappuzha Dam and gardens, often called the Vrindavan of Kerala, is a major attraction with its rockway, aquarium and rock garden. The Silent Valley National Park, a treasure trove of biodiversity, is home to the rare lion-tailed macaque. From the serene Nelliyamatti Hills to the traditional Kalpathy Heritage Village and its world-famous Rathotsavam, Palakkad is truly a traveller's delight. Palakkad is also a cultural powerhouse. It has gifted India with some of its greatest musicians. The legendary Chembai Vaidyanatha Bhagavathar, Mridangam Maestro Palghat Mani Iyer and the soulful Carnatic vocalist M.D. Ramanathan.
In the world of cinema and dance, Palakkad has given us talents like Shobhana, the national award-winning actress and classical dancer, and Vidya Balan, one of Bollywood's finest performers. The iconic Travancore sisters, Lalita, Padmini and Ragini also trace their roots here.
The soil of Palakkad has nurtured writers and thinkers of rare brilliance. Kunjan Nambiar, the creator of Ottathullal, built Kerala's cultural stage with humor and social critique. In modern times, authors like O.V. Vijayan with his classic legends of Kazak and Malayathu Ramakrishnan, author of Yakshi, carried Palakkad's literary flame to new heights.
Palakkad has also played a key role in India's political and social progress. Leaders like A.K. Gopalan or AKG inspired generations with their struggle for freedom and social justice. The district has contributed many reformers, activists and administrators who shaped Kerala's identity.
From its historic fort to its green fields, from the melodies of Chembai to the words of Vijayan, from the Rathotsavam of Kalpathy to the modern achievements of its people, Palakkad is more than a district. It is a living tradition of excellence. Now, the cultural city is honoured to host the 3rd All India Women Convention of Federal Bank Employees Union. We are pleased to welcome you all to Palakkad.
Comrades, the excitement is building here in Palakkad as we reach the final stage of preparation for our 3rd All India Women Convention of the Federal Bank Employees Union. From the banners to the seating, from the cultural programs to the arrangements for your stay, every detail is being carefully readied with love and solidarity. On behalf of the reception committee, I extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to all our women comrades traveling from across the country. This convention is not just an event, it is a celebration of unity, strength and the collective voice of working women. Palakkad is ready, our team is ready and we cannot wait to greet you with open arms. Together, let us make this convention a memorable milestone in our journey of empowerment. See you soon, comrades.
സമരധാരകങ്ങളെ സഖാക്കളെ സസജ്ജരെ പോരൂ നേരിൽ പോരിൽ നേടാം ഇതാ പദം. സമരധാരകങ്ങളെ സഖാക്കളെ സസജ്ജരെ പോരൂ നേരിൽ പോരിൽ നേടാം ഇതാ പദം. വയൽ പരപ്പിലപ്പു സംരംഭങ്ങൾ നേരുന്നു നേരിന്റെ നേരം സമയമേ സമതയിൽ പുലരുമീ സമയമേ സമതയിൽ പുലരുമീ കണ്ടു നമ്മൾ അസമമീ അരുതുകൾ അന്നും നമ്മളേന്തി ചൊരിമണൽ വഴികളിൽ പതാകകൾ ചെറാതുകൾ ചുവന്നുപോയി വാനം പതാകകൾ ചെറാതുകൾ ചുവന്നുപോയി വാനം സമരധാരകങ്ങളെ സഖാക്കളെ സസജ്ജരെ പോരൂ നേരിൽ പോരിൽ നേടാം ഇതാ പദം സമരധാരകങ്ങളെ സഖാക്കളെ സസജ്ജരെ പോരൂ നേരിൽ പോരിൽ നേടാം ഇതാ പദം അണിത്തളങ്ങൾ ഊതിവിട്ട കാറ്റിലിമ്പമേറി മെയ് ഒന്നിലൊന്നായിടുന്നു സമയമേ സമതയിൽ പുലരുമീ മാനം പൂവാനം മേലെ താരം പൊൻതാരം ത്യാഗോജ്വല ധീരം തൂവും നേരിന്നഭിവാദ്യം മാനം പൂവാനം മേലെ താരം പൊൻതാരം
Good morning, comrades. So, first of all, a warm welcome to all to Palakkad, and we are very pleased to host the 3rd All India Women Convention of Federal Bank Employees Union. So, on behalf of Palakkad District Committee and Reception Committee, I once again welcome you all to Palakkad. First of all, I like to welcome Comrade Sujata Neharoy, Chairperson of Federal Bank Employees Union Women Council, to the dais. Secondly, I like to welcome Comrade Sonia George, who is the National Vice President and State General Secretary. She is on her way. So on behalf of Reception Committee, I welcome Comrade Sonia George. I like to welcome Comrade B. Ramprakash, Joint Secretary of AABA and General Secretary of AKBF, to the dais. I like to welcome Comrade PM Ambujam, who is the convener of Federal Bank Employees Union, Vice President of AKBF and Vice President of Federal Bank Employees Union. Next, I like to welcome Comrade Vishal Thakur, President of Federal Bank Employees Union, to the dais. I welcome Comrade A.S. Sujitraju, General Secretary, Federal Bank Employees Union and President, AKBF. I like to welcome Comrade Pingy S., Assistant Secretary, AKBF, to the dais. I like to welcome Comrade Sabina H., Assistant Secretary, AKBF, to the dais. I like to welcome Comrade Srividya PV, Vice President, Federal Bank Employees Union, to the dais. I welcome Comrade P.R. Sujit, Secretary, FBU, to the dais. I like to welcome Comrade Prajita Prabhakaran, Convener, Reception Committee, to the dais. I'd like to welcome Comrade Saju Yu, Chairperson, AKBF Women Council Palakkad, to the dais. And I'd like to welcome Comrade Ramya VR, who is the convener of AKBF Women Council and the chairperson of reception committee. I'd like to welcome all the leaders of AKBF, FBU and the delegates who travel far long to reach Palakkad to make this one conference a grand.
Good morning, comrades. Now, I welcome Comrade Prajita Prabhakaran for giving welcome address.
Good morning to one and all. Today, we all are gathered here for the 3rd All India Women Convention of Federal Bank Employees Union. It is not merely a gathering, it is a platform to reflect, to discuss, and to shape the future of Federal Bank Employees Union. I hope the deliberations here will open new avenues of thoughts, inspire stronger representation, and continued progress. It is my distinct honor to welcome you all to the convention on behalf of the reception committee. First and foremost, I would like to welcome Comrade Sujata Naharoy, Chairperson of Federal Bank Employees Union Women Council. Welcome, Comrade Sujata Naharoy. Next, I would welcome Comrade Sonia George. She's on the way. In her absence, I welcome Comrade Sonia George, National Vice President and State General Secretary of SEVA, Self-Employed Women's Association. A warm welcome to Comrade Sonia George. Next, I warmly welcome our chief guest, Comrade B. Ramprakash, the pride of Palakkad, now the pride of whole AABA. Welcome, Comrade B. Ramprakash, the Joint Secretary of AABA and General Secretary of AKBF. Now I extend a warm welcome to Comrade P.M. Ambujam, Convener of Federal Bank Employees Union Women Council, Vice President of FBU and AKBF. Warm welcome, Comrade P.M. Ambujam. Now I would like to extend a special welcome to Comrade A.R. Sujit Raju, General Secretary of Federal Bank Employees Union. Hearty welcome, Comrade A.R. Sujit Raju. Now I welcome our beloved President of Federal Bank Employees Union, Comrade Vishal Thakur. Warm welcome, Comrade Vishal Thakur. I warmly welcome the Assistant Secretary of AKBF, Comrade Pinky. Welcome, Comrade Pinky. Next, I would like to welcome Comrade Shabina H., Assistant Secretary of AKBF. Welcome, Comrade Shabina. With immense pleasure, I welcome our beloved Comrade Sri Vidya PV, Vice President of Federal Bank Employees Union. Welcome, Comrade. Next, I would like to welcome Comrade V.R. Ramya. She is also on the way. Convener of Palakkad District Women's Council, and Comrade Saju Yu, Chairperson of Women's Council Palakkad. Welcome, dear comrades. Next, I warmly welcome Comrade Vimal K.S., General Secretary of the Reception Committee and District Secretary of AKBF. Welcome, Comrade Vimal K.S. Now, I would like to welcome Comrade Sujit P.R., Secretary of Federal Bank Employees Union. Welcome, Comrade Sujit P.R. And I extend welcome to all the leaders of AABA, AKBF, and FBU who have joined us today. Last but not least, to everyone who has traveled far and near, I warmly welcome each one of you. Let us join together to make this convention enriching, and memorable. Thank you.
Now, Comrade Sujata Naha Roy will address presidential address.
Good morning, Good morning, comrades. I am very happy. First of all, our President, Comrade Vishal, B.R. Ramprakash, Bhumiputra of Palakkad. I am very happy to listen. Sujit, Comrade Pinky, Comrade Chatina, Ambujam, Comrade Srividya, P.R. Sujit, and last of all, or first of all, my beloved Comrade Bimal. If I have not mentioned his name, it will be a crime offense to me. So, after a long time, after 2017, I think the comrades are assembled here. Most of the comrades are very new. They didn't join on that time also. First of all, I welcome all of you, all of my brothers and sisters here. Comrades, you know very well that we are working in such an organization in Federal Bank. We are proud that we are the comrades of the Federal Bank Employees Union. Our organization, you know very well, from the morning onwards till returning home, we have to fight for everything. Maybe it a glass of water, maybe number of computers, number of sections, and everything. What I want to say you comrades, I know we, the lady comrades, are having so many barriers to overcome. It's not an easy task. We have to maintain our family, we have to maintain our children, and after all, we have to maintain our office work. Above all, we are the cadres, we are the soldiers of the Federal Bank Employees Union. One thing I want to convey in this convention is not a festival. Convention is a gathering. Convention is a platform of taking oath. Convention is a learning platform. What I want to tell you, if whoever we are, I know some people, everybody are traveled a few more and more miles away from this place. But the knowledge, what we will gather from here, that knowledge you should spread among your other comrades. When you will return your home, when you will return your native place, you should convey the fragrance of the conference. That will be the success. Last, some 8 years ago, we gathered in the second Women Convention in Trichur. After that, we are all attending this conference. And I am very happy. Now I am presiding in this conference. When we joined in the bank, some 35 years, 40 years back, that the scenario was totally changed. I am very proudly says that I was started my trade union journey with Comrade Tarkeshwar Chakraborty. You heard the name. You heard he is the forefather like this, Parwana, Prabhatkar and other that. Now, we are the comrade, we are the person. We have to carry that legacy. We have to strengthen our organization. We have to hold our flag in the upstairs. Then only we can survive. Don't think, women cannot do this thing, women cannot perform. This is not fair. We, the women, if we can organize our family properly, if we can maintain our office properly, why not we can do our organizational work properly? Comrades, I am requesting all the women comrades, I know you are the leaders and you can raise our flag, you can raise FBU name, and that shining will come through you, comrades, only. Now, I am requesting, comrades, this is a rare opportunity, rare of the rarest opportunity to attend this type of convention. We don't know when we will come and when we will gathering. This gathering, so please use this opportunity, and we have to take the oath in this convention. हम लोग आगे जाएंगे, हम लोग कंधा से कंधा मिलेंगे, हम लोगों का जो मेल कॉमरेड्स है उनके साथ एक ही साथ हम लोग हमारा जो कर्तव्य निभाएंगे. Comrades, again I want to tell you, the convention is not a festival. Convention is the oath-taking platform. Convention is the learning platform. And convention is the platform. Convention is that place from where thousands of comrades we can create who will rule the Federal Bank Employees Union near future. So, in आवाज उठा के और एक बार बोलो, इनकलाब! FBU! Long live! Thank you, comrades.
Now I request Comrade B. Ram Prakash, our chief guest, to address our Women Convention.
Good morning, comrades. President of today's meeting, Comrade Sujata Naharai, Chairperson of the All India Women's Council of Federal Bank Employees Union, President of Federal Bank Employees Union, Comrade Vishal Thakur, General Secretary of Federal Bank Employees Union, as well as the President of All Kerala Bank Employees Federation, Comrade Sujit Raju, convener of the Federal Bank Employees Union Women's Council, as well as the Vice President of Federal Bank Employees Union and leader of All India Bank Employees Association, Comrade P.M. Ambujam, Assistant Secretaries of All Kerala Bank Employees Federation, Comrade Pinky, Comrade Shabina, the women leaders of All Kerala Bank Employees Federation, Palakkad District Committee, Comrade Ramya, Comrade Saju, Comrade Prajita, Vice President of Federal Bank Employees Union, Comrade P.V. Srividya, the General Convener of this convention, the recently elected District Secretary of All Kerala Bank Employees Federation, Palakkad District Committee, Comrade Vimal, Secretary of Federal Bank Employees Union, Comrade P.R. Sujit, leaders of Federal Bank Employees Union, former General Secretaries of Federal Bank Employees Union, Comrade P.P. Varghese, Comrade Matthew George, leader of the working class movement, as well as the former Vice President of AKBF, Comrade S. Ramakrishnan, leaders of AKBF Palakkad District Committee, and my dear comrades of Federal Bank Employees Union, who have traveled from all parts of this country to this place, Palakkad, for attending this Women's Convention. At the outset, I take this opportunity and I convey the choicest revolutionary greetings of All India Bank Employees Association and All Kerala Bank Employees Federation to the 210 women comrades who have assembled here. Greetings to you all, comrades. As told by our chairperson, Palakkad played host to the Federal Bank Employees Union's All India Conference in the year 2002 and 2016. Again, the comrades of Palakkad are the comrades of Kerala under the banner of All India Bank Employees Association. Have got yet another opportunity to host the comrades of the most militant union under the banner of All India Bank Employees Association in this country. I can very proudly say that Federal Bank Employees Union is the only union in this country under All India Bank Employees Association who can conduct an agitation or a strike within 2 hours. No other union in this country will be able to do that. Such is the wonderful mechanism and the wonderful militancy of the comrades of Federal Bank Employees. As all of us know, Federal Bank was founded in the year 1931. Union was not founded in the year 1931. In fact, All India Bank Employees Association came into existence only in the year 1946. And much later, somewhere around 30 years later or 25 years later only, Federal Bank Employees Union was formed. In fact, I have heard from the former leaders of Federal Bank Employees Union that in Federal Bank, the management was so reluctant to give employment to female or ladies were not given any employment in Federal Bank years ago. From that stage, now we have come to a stage wherein we are conducting a convention exclusively of women comrades of working in Federal Bank under the banner of Federal Bank Employees Union. And I can see umpteen number of young comrades. In fact, the comrades above the age of 40 will be much less, I think. Only below 30 or 25, lot of comrades have come from Far East and also from the northern part of the country. So, comrades, that is the transformation that has happened in the gap of nearly 75-80 years in the history of All India Bank Employees Association. So, this is not achieved on a single day. Federal Bank is a private bank. All of us know Federal Bank is a private bank. Federal Bank Employees Union, as I said, is one of the militant unions, and on a day-to-day basis, the Federal Bank Employees Union is fighting against the management to secure the benefits or the legitimate service conditions for the employees. In India, all banks were under the private control only. In the year 1969, pursuant to the decisions taken by All India Bank Employees Association in the 13th conference held at Trivandrum in the year 1964, AIBA took a momentous decision that banks in India should be nationalized, as also that bank employees in this country should have a secured way of living, and we should have a set of service conditions through bilateral negotiations. So AIBA put forth two important demands in the 13th conference in the year 1964. One demand was to nationalize the banks. The other one was, we don't want no more tribunals, we want bipartite. These was the two demands. In the year 1966, on 19th of October, All India Bank Employees Association signed the first bipartite settlement. Now we are on to the 13th bipartite settlement in the year November 2027. We will be moving again to the 13th bipartite settlement. 14 banks were nationalized in the year 1969. On 19th July 1969, 14 banks were nationalized. Then again in the year 1980, 6 more banks were nationalized. So under the government control, including State Bank of India and its subsidiaries, by the year 1980, 28 banks were under the government control. After 1991, when the country started pursuing the reforms in the name of liberalization, privatization, globalization, things started turning, and privatization was given more impetus. And the successive governments are even now trying to impose privatization. So in that scenario, the 28 banks under the government control started vanishing because of the merger of banks or under the name of the consolidation. And now we are having only 12 banks under the control of government. Only 12 banks are public sector banks. The remaining banks have been either merged or amalgamated and the number is reduced. At the time of nationalization there, 1969, the country had around 72 banks, all private banks. After the nationalization, now including Federal Bank, we are having only around 12 banks in the old generation private banks. All other banks have been either taken over by public sector banks or merged with even old generation private banks or taken over by the new generation private banks. So the number of banks in this country is getting a reduction, especially those of the old generation private banks and also under the control of the government. Whereas if you see, under the direct control of the private entrepreneurs or the private sector, banks are mushrooming. There are small finance banks formed in the year 10 years back. Exclusively for the MSME category, small finance banks were formed. All those banks are now under private only. There is no government-owned small finance bank. There are payment banks, which is mainly operated by these fintech companies or these telecom operators. Except the India Post Payment Bank, all other banks are in the private control only. Added to that, we have the new generation private bank like Yes Bank, HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, Bandhan Bank. All these banks are in the private control only. Now what the government is saying is, they want to reduce the number of public sector banks. That is what we are hearing in the media, as also from the FM, from the Secretary DFS, from Niti Aayog, all these institutions or individuals, they are now openly telling that the number of banks should be reduced. And by 2047, in the name of Viksit Bharat, at least 2 banks in India should figure in the top 20 global banks. That is the aim by 2047. At least 2 banks in India should be in the top 20 global banks. So in that direction, the government is now slowly telling that from these 12 banks, they may reduce the banks to 4. So they are now clamoring for merging the banks, whereas there are 5 public sector banks where the governmental shareholding is around 85-86%, like the UCO Bank, Indian Overseas Bank, Bank of Maharashtra, Punjab and Sindh Bank. All those banks are Central Bank of India. All these 5 banks, the governmental shareholding is more than 85-86%. So the government wants to dilute that shareholding to 51% or 60%. Or the government may also wish to privatize those banks. So the aim of the government is to reduce the government banks to a minuscule number, 2, 3 or 4. This is one imminent danger that we face in the days to come. Added to that, there is one thing known as the foreign direct investment, FDI. In India, in the private sector banks, the FDI, there is a limit. The threshold limit is 74% is the FDI that is allowed in the private sector banks. In the public sector banks, the maximum ceiling of foreign direct investment is 20%. Now the government is now openly saying that they want to increase the foreign direct investment in the public sector banks to 49%. That is another danger that is ahead of us. And if you see the inflow of the foreign direct investment in the private banks in the recent past, in the past 1 or 2 months, it is quite alarming. There is a old generation bank known as Ratnagar Bank. The new name is RBL Bank. 60% shares of the RBL Bank is now acquired by one Dubai-based company known as National Bank of Emirates Dubai. There is another new generation bank known as Yes Bank. That bank was in a fiasco some 2-3 years or 4 years back. The bank faced a heavy run. The bank was about to collapse. It was only State Bank of India, the public sector bank, and some other public sector banks that came to the rescue of Yes Bank by infusing lot of money to that bank, and the bank was rescued. Now 25% shares of the Yes Bank or the capital is now acquired by a Japanese bank known as the Sumitomo Mitsubishi Banking Corporation. Our own bank, Federal Bank, in the past 1 month, there is a company named Blackstone, a US-based investment company, which has acquired 9.99% stake in Federal Bank. These are the recent developments. There are public sector banks where the ceiling is 20%, the FDI limit, the foreign investors are slowly started infusing their money in those public sector banks, wherein the FDI was around 7%, 8%, now it is slowly increasing to 11%, 12%, 13% in the last 2 to 3 weeks. So these are the situations that is ahead of us. On the one side, we have formed the All India Private Sector Banks Union Cell, and we conducted a very big meeting at Alway in the Federal Bank Employees Union office, wherein the momentous decision was taken to pursue with agitation, culminating in a strike action, voicing the specific demands of around 10 demands or 12 demands, which is affecting only the private sector banks, like the implementation of the wage revision or the bipartite settlement in the Catholic Syrian Bank, the old generation private bank headquartered at Thrissur in the same state of Kerala, the bank which was formed in the year 1931, having completed its existence for around 95 years. The bank's capital was acquired by a Canadian company known as Fairfax some years ago, and the employees and officers in that bank are still drawing the salary as per 11th bipartite settlement. We are voicing the demand that wage revision or bipartite settlement should be extended to the employees of and officers of Catholic Syrian Bank. This is the state of affairs. If the foreign direct investment is increased more and the banks come under the control of the foreign investors, this will be the fate of the working class movement in this country. There is another bank known as Lakshmi Vilas Bank. That bank was also acquired by a Singapore-based bank known as DBS Bank. Immediately after acquiring, they dismantled the bipartite structure and they have imposed or they have implemented a separate style of wage pact in that bank. So under the All India Private Sector Bank Union Cell, now we conducted a mega dharna in front of the headquarters of 5 private banks, Ratnagar Bank, Nainital Bank, Karnataka Bank, Karur Vaisya Bank and Federal Bank on 3rd of November. And now we are marching ahead for a mega dharna at New Delhi in the month of December, on 10th of December, under the banner of All India Bank Employees Association and All India Private Sector Bank Union Cell. We will be moving ahead for a mega dharna, and our main demand is nationalize all private banks. When we are marching ahead with the demand nationalize all private banks, the government is moving ahead with their own agenda or their own slogan that privatize all nationalized banks. This is the path that the government is now treading and where we are heading to. I am just sharing some of my thoughts to all of you. You are all very young comrades who has to be in the banking industry for another 3 decades to 4 decades. So these are the very impending dangers. Once this people-oriented banking policies are shifted towards the foreign investors or these private hands, definitely their motive will be only profit, profit and profit. Everything will be profit driven, and the socialized or the social control or the people-oriented public sector banking concepts like the priority sector lending or giving educational loans or even giving employment with the system of reservation, all these things will slowly start fading away or it will be taken away. So this is a very great impending danger ahead of all of us. I am just sharing the things only with regard to the banking industry. If you take the entire public sector, we can talk for hours together, because the government is already has a plan in the name of national monetization pipeline, wherein the government wants to sell out almost all the public sector enterprises and the public assets, and they want to garner around 6 lakh crores. This is what the government is planning. There is a bank known as IDBI Bank. That bank is also now the government wants to sell off. and they want to garner around 50,000 rupees immediately, 50,000 crores immediately by way of selling of this IDBI bank. Now coming to the labor front, now all of us have assembled here because we have the right to assemble here. We have the right to form a union. That is why Federal Bank Employees Union was formed. That is why All India Bank Employees Association was formed. And Federal Bank Employees Union have conducted innumerable strikes, including stay-out strikes, our march to the head office, our hunger strike, different types of strikes we have conducted because we have the right to strike, we have the right to organize, we have the right for collective bargaining, we have the right to strike. That is why all these things are happening, and that is why we have assembled here conducting a meeting or a convention of the women employees under the banner of Federal Bank Employees. Yesterday, the government has come out with labor reforms. I do not know how many have read the circular or press release issued by All India Bank Employees Association. The General Secretary of AIB has termed yesterday as the Black Friday. That is the word that is coined by the General Secretary of AIB, a Black Friday. In our country, the workers are having very good protection, right from the Trade Union Act formed in the year 1926, or the Industrial Dispute Act in the year 1947, or all other acts. The employees, the workers, whether it is organized or unorganized, they have a succor or a level of protection against the inhuman attacks of the employers or the owners or the private capital in this country. Now, some 4 or 5 years back, the government bundled 29 of such acts which was giving protection to the workers. They bundled 29 acts into 4 codes. Code on wages, code on industrial relations, code on occupational safety, and code on social security. Like this, under the name of 4 codes, they bundled all these 29 acts. And yesterday, the government has made it, practically implemented it from yesterday, that instead of those acts, these codes will prevail upon. When these codes come in place of the acts, the things that I told earlier, the right to organize, the right to strike, the right to bargain collectively, all these things will slowly fade away. The entire protection is now given to the employers. The employers will have a lot of protection. Now we are conducting strikes. Without notice, we are conducting strikes. When these codes come into place, a minimum of 60 days notice we may have to give to conduct a strike. A minimum 60 days notice we have to conduct a strike. And if you give a notice for conducting a strike, the conciliation machinery will begin. And during the conciliation process, you cannot go on strike. And if you go on strike, criminal proceedings may be initiated, or hefty fine may be imposed upon, or the new conditionalities that is slowly coming. And with regard to the unorganized sector and with regard to the people working in factories and all, there are a lot of changes in this codes, wherein whatever things that we have been enjoying all these years, or whatever the benefits that has been secured by the working class of this country right from the formation of All India Trade Union Congress in the year 1920, and for all these 105 years, only through incessant struggles by our former leaders, by our old generation comrades, we are able to get all the secure, all these benefits or all these rights. Now the government is trying to take away all these rights slowly, one by one. On the one side, they want to implement the privatization. On the other side, they want to take away all the rights that we enjoy or that we have secured. Because already all of you know that the Infosys chairman Naranamurthy is saying 996, that you work for 18 hours, 20 hours. That is what he is advocating. With the new set of these labor codes, there will be complete flexibility for these working hours. There will be complete flexibility for the employers to exploit the working class. There will not be any structured wages. There will not be any job and there will not be any job security. So the days ahead are not going to be rosy. As told by our chairperson, Comrade Sujata, she told that a convention is not a festival. It is not a festival. Of course, definitely there will be entertainment, there will be merrymaking, there will be enjoyment. But the content of this convention or a content of a conference of a trade union is to give more education to its members, to give more awareness to its members, to fight against the exploitation of this capitalist class and the management. For that only this convention is convened. I am sure that in the 2-day session, you comrades will dwell upon these impending dangers and definitely will come out with more resolutions in the days to come to fight against this corporate class or the rulers that be who wish to go ahead with their own agenda of giving the best to the corporates and trying to hit the working class of this country. Comrades, there are photos kept here. You please take some time and see the photos, read out the names, and try to understand who those comrades are there. Comrade Prabhatkar, Comrade Parvana, Comrade Tarakeshwar Chakravarti, Comrade TKV Nair, Comrade AVG Nair. All those comrades gave their lives for us. All their comrades gave their lives for us. Comrade Prabhatkar lost his job. Comrade Parvana lost his job. Comrade AVG Nair, he resigned his job for the bank employees. Comrade Tarakeshwar Chakravarti and Comrade TKV Nair, they, for the entire life, they worked only for the bank employees movement and the working class movement. Only because of their struggles, we are able to secure all these benefits. And as far as Federal Bank comrades are concerned, Federal Bank Employees Union for the past 4 decades have struggled like anything to secure to derive the maximum benefits for its comrades. Federal Bank is the only bank and Federal Bank Employees Union is the only bank wherein, apart from the bipartite, the employees in a bank get the maximum fringe benefits. I congratulate this. I take this opportunity and congratulate Federal Bank Employees Union. We are public sector. In our public sector, we may be getting 1 newspaper. Federal Bank comrades will be getting, I think, 2 newspapers. 2 newspapers. Whether we read or not, we are getting 2 newspapers. Like that, loan schemes, all these schemes, everything is secured because of the struggles by our forefathers. We may not be able to do any such sacrifice like those comrades. We may not be able to do because we are prioritizing so many things. And some prioritize union as the first priority, some as second, some as third, some do not prioritize all. I am not saying that all of us should prioritize union as the first priority, but whenever there is a call by the organization, kindly devote your time, at least during the time for the organization, so that we will be able to overcome all these impending dangers that are ahead of us, that is foisted on us by the successive governments. I am sure the young women comrades of Federal Bank Employees Union who are attending here will take this message to all other comrades in this part of country and take Federal Bank Employees Union and All India Bank Employees Association to greater heights. With this, I thank you, I greet you, I salute you, comrades. Thank you.
Thank you. Comrade B. Ramprakash, General Secretary of not to our General Secretary. I am telling, Bhumiputra of the Palakkad. So I am requesting Comrade Ambujam, please greet her, honor her on behalf of Comrade Srividya and Comrade Ambujam to honor, to greet and to convey our love and everything to him. Okay. Come. Yeah. Okay, that side. Again, on behalf of Federal Bank Employees Union, behalf of all women and male comrades, again I greet our comrade B. Ram Prakash. Next, General Secretary, our convener, actually, this is our tradition, so always secretary's report. So forgive me. Convener, Comrade Ambujam, will place the reports of the last 7 years, almost 7 to 8 years. She is presenting the report before you.
Our dear Sujata Naharoy, Chairperson of Women's Council, our General Secretary Sujit Raju, AKBF General Secretary and Canada Bank Employees Union General Secretary Comrade B. Ram Prakash, our President Comrade Vishal Thakkar, AKBF Assistant Secretary Comrade Pinky, Comrade Shabina, our Vice President Comrade Srividya, and our senior leaders, Comrade S. Ramakrishnan, Comrade Matthew George, Comrade P.P. Varghese, and all my dear comrades. This is a very happy moment that we are gathering here. Last conference, that was in 2017 in Trichure, August 12th. And that was attended by around 400 comrades, women comrades. And I think that Seva. Thank you. Okay, thank you. The extended General Council meeting of AKBF held at Thiruvananthapuram on 23rd July 2019 adopted a resolution demanding reinstatement of Comrade Pradima. After this long, historic, united struggle by thousands of comrades across the country, Comrade Pradima Pujari was reinstated in the bank. Her reinstatement stands as a proud symbol of the strength of our unity, the power of collective struggle, and the uncompromising spirit of our comrades. Now, after Comrade Pradima was elected as an executive member of our union on the 28th All India Conference held at Kozhikode on 24th and 25th February. And coming to our participation in the All India meetings. Participation of our members in the 8th All India Women Convention of AABA at Hyderabad in 2018. 25 lady comrades from our union participated in the 8th All India Women Convention of AABA held at Hyderabad from 24 to 26 November 2018 through their respective state federation. Their list is also given in this book. And in this conference, Comrade P.M. Ambujam, who is the convener of AKBF Women's Council and Central Committee member of AABA, was one of the members of Presidium and controlled the proceedings of the convention. Besides Comrade Ambujam, Comrade Pradima Narasimha Pujari, EC member, Lisimol Joseph Vice Chairperson, FBE Women's Council, and Priyanka Shah, branch Bhavanagar, and Comrade Raksida Patel also participated in the deliberation. ABS 9th Women Employees Convention concludes with strong resolutions and national council formation. The 9th National Women Employees Convention ABA held on 8th and 9th February at Ahmedabad. In that convention, 31 lady comrades from our union participated from all states. The convention unanimously adopted 15 resolutions focusing on safeguarding public sector bank opposing anti-labor policies. ABS National Women Council also formed, comprising a chairperson, convener, 12 joint conveners, and council members from all state federations. The leadership of the council was elected as that list also given here. All Central and General Council members of AABA from the state federations will also serve as members of the National Women Council. We are happy that our convener has been elected as one of the joint conveners of this newly formed council. And this list also given here. Protest before Kolkata Zone Office. Massive protest demonstration was organized by our Kolkata Regional Committee on 6/2/2023 before Kolkata Regional Office of the bank against violation of dignity of lady officers in R&R, that is
Sonia George, and she is taking the pain through his hectic, busy schedule to join with us. Give a big applause for her, comrades. Yes, thank you. I am requesting Madam Sonia George, please address, and I think our comrades will be heavily enriched through your warm presentation, Madam Sonia George. And she will also inaugurate our convention. So it is little bit late, but this is not a matter of late or early. Now she will officially inaugurate our third convention or placard.
First of all, sincere apologies that I'm late, half an hour late. The train was late unnecessarily, so I had to be late. So my apologies. And I'm so happy to be part of this All India Conference of Women Employees of Federal Bank in this country, and very happy to see so many youngsters in this platform, and also happy to be part of this, giving the inaugural speech. Respected President Sujata Nahar Roy ma'am, Chief Guest Ram Prakash sir, Convener Ambujam ma'am, Sujit Raju, Vishal Thakur, Pinky, Shabina, Srividya, Prajida, Vimal, and all distinguished delegates of this conference. First of all, greetings. Greetings from a mass movement of women workers, which is representing the informal economy of this country, representing 3.5 million, 35 lakhs women workers. And I'm proud to be part of that movement for the last 25 years, working with women in the informal economy, women workers in the informal economy. And many of you know SEWA. SEWA is Self-Employed Women's Association. It is one of the central trade unions of this country, the 7th largest union in the country, representing only women workers in the informal economy. And even though I'm happy, I'm so sad, or I'm so shattered to be part of this conference today, because as all of us know, yesterday, the 4 draconian labor codes was passed by, it's not passed, it starts implementing from yesterday onwards. And we all have seen in the newspapers and in social medias and wherever the government of India has notified these 4 labor codes yesterday officially, finally, after so much of resistance from the trade union movement of the country, without any tripartite consultations, without any proper discussions with any of the stakeholders who are part of this, or who are going to be affected by this draconian labor codes. We don't know how it is going to impact the labor movement in the country, the workers in the country, both organized and and unorganized sector workers of this country. It's not an easy walkover for the government, of course. The trade union movements, the central trade union movements, with the Samyukta Kisan Morcha, they have jointly announced a nationwide strike on November 26th to protest against this passing, this implementation, notification of the government. And the government, yesterday actually the government had, on 20th, the government had, the finance minister had interactions with the central trade unions on the on the budget, the coming budget, and all central trade unions have expressed their concerns over the implementation of the labor codes, and also many of you have heard about the government is trying to implement a labor policy which is again anti-labor. completely anti-labor in this country. And there was a discussion again, a tripartite discussion after continuous pressure on the government on 13th November to discuss with different stakeholders, different social partners on labor policy, and we have been discussing it for the last 1 month, means it has come out by October second week, and it was in the public domain for few 2 or 3 weeks, and we had to submit our opinion, and it is very strange that none of the unions were even notified individually that such a policy is coming, you have to comment on it. All of us had to look at the website and see such a policy was there. Let us comment on it, let us look at it. So this is what is happening for last many years, especially after the NTR government coming into power and establishing, asserting their power, their strength, and you know what provoked them, or what made them so confident in the sense of the Bihar victory they had in terms of implementing this like just at a second. That is what had happened. So this is where we are coming together as women workers in this country, representing a public sector bank, and working, fighting, trying to organize for our rights in this country. And I think this context is not so hopeful in that sense, and I don't want to disappoint you with my first part of the speech, but this is the truth, and this is where I think our organizing strength, spirit, should really develop. And I think this organizing, this conference should pave a way for us to develop new strategies for strengthening ourselves, new strategies, for developing new movements, strong movements of women and youth, of workers, of youngsters, of the most marginalized people in this country, so that nobody can wash us away. Nobody can play with us so easily. So I was reading, while I was coming in the train, so many comments, and even many of our colleagues, many of our journalist colleagues, all were exchanging comments on what is happening, what do we do? And some people were saying, what should they do? Why should we worry? We know the implementation status of different laws in the country. But I'm sure that such kind of laws, when it is going to be implemented, it is going to have very heavy repercussions on the rights of workers and on the rights of especially the most vulnerable, poor, marginalized workers. One of the biggest thing, I don't know how many of you have noticed, if Social Security Code is coming to be established, means it's already in existence, all the social security rights that we have earned through very strong struggles of the trade union movements in the country, like ESI, PF, and for most of us, many of us who are sitting here as women workers, the Maternity Benefit Act, all these labor laws are no more into existence. None of these laws will be into existence. And we will have a scheme instead of Maternity Benefit Act is becoming Maternity Benefit Scheme. ESI Act is becoming ESI Scheme. EPF Act is becoming EPF Scheme. So this is something that maybe that can relate to us very easily, and that is what I would like to mention about this. This is going to happen very soon in our daily lives, in our work lives, in our community lives, in our movements as workers. It is going to affect very badly. So I think it's important for us to think about our rights as workers, and also especially women workers in this country. As I have said, I have been working as part of a women's movement over 25 years now. From my very young age, I have started working in this organization. It was a very challenging experience to me when I started working in this organization. Soon after my studies, after working with the student movement, entering into a women's movement, and maybe when I entered into that women's movement, I thought it has no political affiliation. And what I understood when I was trying to understand the context and why should I join this movement. Of course, maybe many of you know Ela R. Bhatt, who was the founding member of SEWA, and who is the founder of SEWA. She was a strong Gandhian. She was one of the leading person in the Textile Labor Association started by Mahatma Gandhi. And she was an ardent follower of the Gandhian movement during freedom struggle, post-freedom struggle, and was one of the biggest activists in the textile labor movement, which organized the entire textile workers in northwest region of the country. And from there with inspiration, so one of the inspirations behind SEWA, means how SEWA was formed, was that, as you know, we talk about different periods of economic crisis that we had to face at this country. Before globalization, before liberalization, one of the strong crisis, economic crisis that the entire world was facing after independence, during the 60s and 70s, as you know, public sector was seriously under threat from that time. And especially all the public sector, industries, factories, and all sectors were undergoing serious threats, and workers were facing huge retrenchment in their labor force, and huge struggles were going on. But when they felt that there were less chances of getting back into those factories, those industries, garment industries especially, those big cotton mills especially, the great vision of Elaben, whom we call her very affectionately Ben, she started thinking about, how could we find alternate employment for these women workers who have lost their jobs? Or those women workers whose husbands have lost their jobs, means what are the opportunities? So this movement has started with the spirit of creating or sustaining women workers in the country in order to have sustainable livelihood, sustainable rights, and also have a self-determination as a women worker, as a woman in this country. So that is how this movement was formed, and that is why when I started my journey with this movement, I was feeling, apart from the political affiliation, the philosophy, and also the strong strength in women workers' rights, focus on women workers' rights, and how do we talk about, with clear perspective, rights about the women's workers in the country, that made me to be with the movement for the last 25 years, and I'm so proud to be part of that movement. So I think that is why I'm so happy to see so many women, even though compared to the men workforce in the banking sector, women are comparatively very less, maybe maximum 30%, maximum, not more than that, between 25 to 30%. Maybe, please correct me if I'm wrong. 44 now? I'm saying the entire sector. Yeah. Federal 44, it's a very happy news. So we are still minority. We are more than 50% of the population, but when it comes to workforce, we are still minority. And this question of, always I ask this question, or I have started my journey with this question, why this is not becoming equal or on par with the men workforce of the country? What is happening to the context of the women workforce? I was part of a task force set up by the Ministry of Labor and Employment in the country, which started during the COVID time, to look at the female labor force participation in the country. And it was like shocking to see the female workforce participation even in the organized sector of this country. Women have education, women have skills, women have technical skills, women have capacities, but still, even in the organized sector, let's leave the informal sector, but when it comes to formal organized sector still with this education. And I'm not so proud of even my state, even this happening in, this meeting happening in my state. I'm not, because the state is so proud of its so-called development indices. It's very high. And the state is number one in terms of women's education. But when it comes to women's female labor force participation, it's very low. It's like many other states of this country, which has very less educational status and other development indices in the international development in this forum. But at the same time, we are seeing many women are interested to work. Many women would like to be part of the workforce. But still, I think there is a glass ceiling. I hope everybody will understand the word glass ceiling. Now, what are these glass ceilings? That keep us always some steps away from reaching what we are saying. No, that is where we have to be there. So I think that is something that we have to seriously think. More youngsters should come to the workforce. But what are the forces? And we very easily say, very, very common narrative, it's women's responsibility, to take care of the family. How many of you will agree with me it's women's responsibility to take care of the family who are sitting here? How many of you will agree? Nobody? Pardon? Say. What did you say? How many of you believe that it's women's responsibility to take care of the family? 1, 2? Only 2 of you. Have you understood my question? Whose responsibility is to take care of the family? Both. Then who is taking care of the family? What is happening in reality? Let me hear that. Huh? Women. So in reality, who is taking care of the family? Women. Us. Why is it so? Even in 21st century, after all this, we are using drone, everything very modern. We are so highly technically oriented. Why is it so happening? Patriarchy. We very easily have a common enemy, patriarchy. But let's think, what is really the system? Means why is it happening so? And in many states of India, I think it's a speciality of India, now they have started supporting women housewives with freebies. Recently the state of Kerala has announced 1,000 rupees. You have seen in the recent Bihar before the elections, almost every woman, they have got 10,000 rupees in their bank account. So that means if you do something like that, what is going to happen? What is going to happen? Women will be very happy. Yeah. I'll be very happy to continue this job as housewives. Government is giving me 1,000 rupees. Some governments are giving me 2,000 rupees. Bihar at a stretch, we get 10,000. Delhi is giving 3,000 rupees. So many states have this kind of announcements that support. So every time housewifeization is categorized as a very dominant workforce who are not on par with the mainstream workforce. It is housewife. We don't hear the word house husband. But we are very, very, very familiar with the word housewife. Many of our colleagues or many of our family members or many of our relatives, they'll be very happily introduced as housewives. But men who are not working or who are not working outside, how many of them introduce themselves as house husbands? So as Madam pointed out, patriarchy has divided this society into many categories. Housewives, not house husbands, housewives and breadwinners. That is the categorization that patriarchy has divided us. And this division, when the world has changed, when the world has progressed, this is not changed. This is not shifted. Yes, you work, but you have to get up at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Early morning, you finish all your household responsibilities, housewife responsibilities, then you go to work. That is permitted. So that is how I have been doing a study. I work as I have said, I work with the most informal sector workers of this country. And I have been doing a study amongst the home-based workers, means women who sit at home. And as you know, according to the labor statistics and and the reality of this country, more than 40% of the manufacturing happen in this country is happening in workers' homes. They work from home as outsourcing. From large companies, huge supply chains, they work from homes. So I'm still continuing my study on working with two sectors of workers in Kerala especially. That two sectors are umbrella makers and ornamental, this Christmas star makers. And it's very interesting and very surprising, very shocking to see how these workers are treated as spare-time workers. Means they are housewives, but you have some spare time. So you please do something in your spare time. But that spare time can extend from 5 hours to 12 hours. That is the spare time. So let's see how it is ironically established. You work your spare time, but your main job is your main duty is household responsibilities. So ultimately, these women end up working 21, 22 hours. Many of them won't sleep. They cannot sleep because there are targets. If the targets are not met, the next day they are not being supplied with the raw materials to be made. So this is how the entire system of community, of work, of man-women relationship, of patriarchy that works in our system, and we don't realize how it categorizes us as spare-time workers, full-time workers, housewives, housewife workers. We don't know how it categorizes us. So, and on the other side, we think about a workforce. Maybe in India they are saying, that is what I wanted to say, when the task force which was started in 22, when we started the work, the labor force participation rate of India was, female labor force participation rate of India was like between 18 to 20%. But when we finished the work, we had a lot of disagreements. We didn't agree to many of the government's approach towards it. Then finally, I didn't go to many of the meetings because by the end of the task force, when they were supposed to bring the report, the female labor force participation was, even in the periodic labor force survey and the entire labor systems of the country, female labor force participation was recorded as 36%. Still, it's a mystery to me how from 18 to 36, between these 2 years, the labor force participation has increased. So manipulating data implies empowerment now. That is one of the strategies that government has been tackling for last few years to manipulate data with the support of international, international financial agencies like IMF Monetary Fund or World Bank or such institutions and ADB. The government clearly manipulates data to show that we have this many number of people, this many number of women working. That means we have uplifted this many women or we have made this many women enter into the workforce. But in reality, that is not true. So I think that is where I started. Breaking the glass ceiling is not an easy task for us. When you go to the workplace, when you try to be on par with your male colleagues, when you try to ask for your rights, when you try to ask for your, for example, that is where it started with maternity benefit. Of course, the formal workforce in the country now can enjoy 6 months of maternity benefit. But at the same time, now I'm saying, when it comes, the law becoming a scheme, what is going to happen, we don't know with respect to the rights that we have been earned as formal workforce. But even though we have these rights, what is happening to us in the workplace? This glass ceilings, work pressure. Work pressure is a very common term that we use. How many of you face work pressure? How many of you face, I'm seeing some hands, how many of you face work pressure? Work pressure is something that we have been hearing so much for the last few years. We know the reforms that have been happening post-liberalization, especially in public sectors, especially in public banking sectors. We know how it is affecting the employees in the sector, we know very much. And all of us are victims of it. All of us are trying to adjust. I know many of the bank employees, no, they sit for more than 8 hours. They sit for 12 hours many times. They have to do shifts. Many of them have small children. Many of them have other responsibilities. And work-life balance is something that we talk about every day now. Hindering practices that disturb or that is not allowing people to have work-life balances, that is something that is very much affecting us. So, we are talking about all these things. And also, care is something that always placed at the heart of the women. If it is your own children, your own parents, your own husbands, your own family members, women will be there first to take care of that entire group of people. But I believe care is a public good. Care is a public responsibility. It is the role of the government to allow me to or provide me space to work. That means the government has to provide me care facility in order to support my productivity, in order to enhance my productivity. But now the new labor codes are coming. Many of the things that we enjoyed in terms of, like, for example, the threshold of workers below 20, wherever there is an organization, an institution, a workspace, if it is below 20, with electricity, no labor laws are going to be affected on those places. So if you are 15 women workers there and you need support systems for care, for example, you need a crush. But now the labor laws, no, it's not binding, it's not there to support you when you need a care. So, and care economy is like something that is like hot flashing in all over the international economy. Everywhere people are talking about care support. All over the world, people are talking about parental leave for fathers, like maternity leave, extending leave for fathers. Many countries, many developed countries have established parental leaves on par with the maternity leaves of mothers. So people are talking in terms of parental leaves. People are talking in terms of workplace facility to support women who have been undergoing reproductive tensions, reproductive issues, or post-reproductive period. All these things have been on discussions with regard to global care framework. At the same time, on the other side, there are care providers. Who are the care providers? When we understand us, so that is why I think many times this is not going together at a stretch. When people think about care, when the formal sector think about care as a right, establishing care as a right to employers, to the employers, by the employers and the management, it is one of the basic rights that as worker, that should be ensured to a female employee. How the system is envisioned is the biggest problem now. Last year in 2024, International Labour Organization has a special discussion on the rights of the care workers, and also the rights of women as somebody who needs care. And how do we develop such a system so that women's needs to enter the labor force, to get support in the labor force? I was always happening as white collar workers, we may be able to afford to put our children in crushes or put our children in daycares or whatever it is. But when it comes to the majority of the women labor force in the country who are in the informal sector, who don't even have minimum wages, who don't have the infrastructure to support their care needs, the country has no such support. We are familiar about Anganwadis. Maybe some of you may be familiar about, you have heard about Palana Crush. That is one of the schemes the government has introduced to support working women with very young children from 0 to 3 years. But when the implementation of the systems comes, you know, for an Anganwadi to work, it works from 10 to 3. But a woman worker who works from 8:30 or 9 to 6 o'clock, how the system is going to support them is one of the biggest questions. We work a lot with domestic workers. Domestic workers are one of our major constituents in Seva. We have like around 5 lakhs of domestic workers that we work with. All of them, as you know, all of us have. Many of you are sitting here today peacefully because there would be somebody at our home supporting us, cooking for our families, or supporting your elderly or whoever it is, wherever you are from. But when we talk about the rights of these domestic workers who are supporting us, what about their care needs? Those who care for us, how do we support the care needs? So I think as people, that is something that I would like to share with you in the sense, as people working in formal and with the support of the women in the informal sector, how do we understand this binary, this division between formal and informal, and as women trying to get organized, trying to unionize as workers, how do we bring together the strengths of both formal and informal women in order to support the rights of both sectors? I think that is one of the biggest challenges that we face. So I think in the international care economy debate, when we talk, huge number of women migrate from this country to other countries in the care economy sector, maybe as nurses, maybe as home care people, maybe as domestic workers, maybe as cleaners. Huge numbers of people, huge numbers of women migrate from this country to other countries, especially to GCC, European countries, and US. And the situations of their maybe established nurses, they are very well organized, but other workers, they are not at all in terms of organized, they are not at all in terms of supported. No labor laws are there to support them. The immigration laws are so stringent that their rights are not at all realized at different pathways of migration, but they are care workers. They care for our people. They care for people who earn money to the country. So I think how do we understand this complexities within the workforce is very important for us in order to break the glass ceiling that we are talking about as women, as patriarchal victims. How are we trying to get us organized in that sense? That is very important for us. Then the question is leadership. All of you are leaders sitting here. How do we affirm our leadership is something very important. How many of women, I'm so happy that as in the report, Comrade Ambujam has clearly mentioned that women are in the leadership position of this union. I'm very happy to read it. But in reality, when you take in the leadership positions, women still in this country are fighting for equal rights in terms of political representation. And what is happening and when I looked at even the data from internationally to nationally, it is not only the question or it is not only the reality of India, but even in Europe, even in North America, even in Latin America, even in Asia, and coming to India, not more than 25% of women are in the top leadership positions in any of the leading financial positions, financial companies, banking positions, or public sector companies. Maximum 25 we can see. So, how do we stress for the leadership of women in our workplace is something very important that we have to talk about. Here again, I'm talking back from the glass ceiling. There is some glass ceiling. Many times we say that our meetings, sometimes it takes place after the working hours. How many women can stay for it? Many committees happen overnight. How many women can stay for it? So these are all glass ceilings. We don't want to talk about, but how many of us have argued for meetings which suit our time? How many of us have argued to share the housewife responsibility to house husbands when we have such responsibilities? How do we develop such capacities when we are part of such a large movement? And you're very lucky to be part of this movement. And this movement have established its own pathways in terms of getting you different forms of rights. Not only one right or two rights, means whatever you enjoy. And I was talking to the comrades who came to receive me to the last part of getting you 5 days of working, 5 working days a week. This movement is like behind you each and every time to bring you with the rights that you are anticipating in terms of workers and workers' rights. But how are we going to reach that space as women is very important for us. How do we challenge the glass ceilings? How do we go beyond patriarchy? How do we go beyond housewifeization and the breadwinner concept? We are no more in industrial societies. Industrial societies have broken down. Now we are in post-industrial era. Liberalization have reached us into that form. Now you have seen there are no employers. Everybody wants to become an entrepreneur. That is the motto. Many of you have seen, or you may have been assessing the applications of people who have applied as an entrepreneur. Many of you have been processing it, and most of them are women. The entire language of work and workers' rights have changed. From workers, from employees, it has gone to self-employed, it has gone to entrepreneurs. Now, everybody wants to play. So, as a bank manager, you have to be the best entrepreneur. So, I get 10 calls from all the bank managers who were our accountants. Can you take this service? Can you take this service? Do you want to avail this loan? So we are promoting ourselves as an entrepreneur than an employee in many situations that the new world, the post-industrial world is looking at us. And that post-industrial world, asserting rights is one of the biggest challenging things that we have to think about. How do we assess our economic positions? How do we assess our cultural positions? How do we assess our material positions, and how do we assess our identity? That is very important for us. As women, how are we going to assess our identity? As women, as workers, as people having equal rights, equal opportunities, and how we join together to form a strong union. That is very important for us. And I think that is what you want as the most challenging thing in your work. As a person coming from a movement which has the most unorganized workers in this country. They are domestic workers, they are street vendors, they are fish workers, they are bamboo workers, they are garment workers, they are ship breaking workers, they are waste pickers. If they can organize, if they can assert their rights, if they can work together forming a very strong workforce in this country, I think this challenge is for you to organize very strongly, to break the glass ceilings of 20%, 25%, to reach 50. How do we work towards that journey? And we know the challenges are too high for us in terms of from the government. Now, apart from, as I said, labor laws, labor codes are getting implemented. Government is bringing out a labor policy. So in that labor policy, the government says, you are no more workers. No, work is shram. You are not what shramjeev is. You have to perform your dharma. That is what the government is saying. Your rights have been completely taken away, and we work for livelihood. We work to have a better family life. But the government says, beyond your rights, you have to perform dharma. That is what is going to happen in the labor policy. Vikasit Bharat by 2047. How many of us will be there as workforce in the Vikasit Bharat to 2047? They want to curtail all public sector banks. They want to bring maximum private sector banks. And very sad. And every time I am against means when there was strong public financing options for the common people of this country, there was a strong feeling of community, unanimity, and also people have the feeling of sustenance in terms of interrelationships. But now you're very familiar with the term microfinance. Microfinances have mushroomed. It has reached to all nook and corners of this country. Every woman from the informal sector, they have microfinance loans. And it made banking so easy. That is what people say. But it had increased people's debt to an extent that they don't want to live. They don't want to exist anymore. Everything is privatized. Anybody can lend money without any documents. Financial literacy was something that we wanted to assure to common people of this country. Finance reaching your doorsteps was the motto of the microfinancing. The person who has advocated microfinancing is now in the almost prime ministerial role of Bangladesh. But I think we should look at it very critically. I always feel public financing versus microfinance. And when you go to the rural areas of India, to the small villages of India, you can see that number of banks which we haven't even heard, they are operating in those areas, providing loans, targeting women, getting back from women those loans. But on the other side, the public sector banking is undergoing so many serious issues, so many threats, and you have seen, you have all crossed different threats of it in terms of mergers, in terms of more private banking coming, and now the latest, I think, the disinvestment policies, the percentage of share almost going more than half. Foreign investments are coming in, and the nationalization element completely is weakening in that process. And that is where, as women, I think, addressing these issues, how many of us have gone to see these people who have been lending microfinance loans? I think it would be very good if few people can really understand that process, that microfinance loans, how it has been dispersed at the local levels. How do we make people understand? Yesterday I was like, the person who supported me at my home, my domestic worker, she wanted to take a leave. She has taken 82,000 rupees as loan from Kudumasri Joint Liability Group, and she has almost given 1 lakh back. And now the group has said her that she has to pay back again 1.5 lakhs. And she was so shocked, so shattered, and she's saying, I don't know what to do. I think the play under this financing, microfinancing is something that I think public sector banking people, public sector banking employees can bring out into the limelight, so that our poor women are getting or are they rescued from that process of this much debts in this country. So why I am stressing this is because in terms of responsibilities, in terms of leadership, in terms of challenging the dominant structure, in terms of challenging the draconian labor laws that is trying to kill us, that is trying to take away all the rights of us as workers, as women workers, how are we going to resist in this process is very important for us. So let us think about how do we bring together the notion of public? How do we bring together the notion of community responsibility? How do we bring together the notion of joint responsibilities? And that will apply to our families too. And that is how we would like to think about breaking the glass ceilings that is really affecting us, that is really breaking our community feeling, that is really breaking our organizing capacity, and people are becoming so much individualistic. And you know, all the children, almost all the children who wanted to have higher education, they are with the burden of huge loans, and they don't know how to pay back their loans after their education, and that is one of the biggest scenarios, especially the rural people face. And we don't know how to tackle these issues in the field with our women workers. How are we going to do? What education? Because number of people in the formal economy is reducing every day. The formal sector is shrinking and informal economy is bringing. That is where the entire enterprise model is flourishing in this country. Nobody is responsible. No government, no management. You are responsible for yourself. That is the motto of the labor code. That is the motto of the labor policy. And that is the motto of the new finance policy that is coming out. Means nobody will be responsible for anybody, reducing maximum number of employees and making workers as entrepreneurs, and that is the entire direction of the new policies that are coming into the field. So I think, my dear friends, my dear comrades, my dear women colleagues, I think it's important for us to think in this critical juncture, how are we going to understand these issues? How are we going to realize these issues? How are we going to talk about these issues? You know, how these issues are becoming a common narrative in our daily lives? How our workplaces are becoming women-friendly spaces? Can we have a place to rest? Can we have a work-life balance atmosphere in our own workspace? Can we have a workplace without violence? I think I would like to stop with that. I think, can we have a workplace without violence? I, as a member of the Internal Complaints Committee as part of the POSH Act, I am an external member for so many, more than 15 institutions. I serve as internal committee members of well-established public and private organizations. And numerous cases are coming from public sector employees in terms of facing violence. Are our workplaces violence-free? Are we able to think about such a place where we have peaceful atmosphere, without gender discrimination, without, no, we don't feel that we are in an unsafe workplace. We talk about public workplace, we talk about public transport, we talk about our own workplaces, and also finally we talk about our own homes. Domestic violence-free homes. So I think it's important for us to talk about violence-free, harassment-free workplaces. For women, home is also a workplace, so it includes both workplace and also home. So working towards a violence-free workplace is also very important for us to think about. So, my dear friends, breaking the glass ceilings, we can do it. That is very strongly I want to stress. In the challenging world, in the neoliberal world, in a world where a very, very, very narrow fascistic approach that is challenging us in terms of religion and in terms of community, where all of these forces are trying to scatter us as much as possible, how do we break the ceilings? How do we break these challenges? How do we bring together all the workforce? That is what the Central Trade Union platforms in the country is doing, trying to bring together all unions that support the common mass in this country, stand together, fight together, bring together everyone, bring the women together, bring the Dalits together, bring the Adivasis together, bring the students together, bring the youth together in this country to fight against corruption, to fight against poverty, to fight against the fascistic tendencies of the government, to fight against anti-labor policies, draconian labor force of the government, to fight against factors that resist women entering the labor force, to fight against factors that promote, that support violence and create victimization of people in this country. Let's have a workplace, let's have a community, let's have a nation free of violence, with justice, with rights, where women and men enjoy full rights. Next time when you meet, Federal Bank should be able to tell us that we have 50% women in our workforce. That should be our next step towards fighting towards this glass ceilings. And I hope as youngsters, you are many more years in this bank, and you will be leading the movement, and you will be supporting the next generation also who will be joining. And I know, I'm very sure you have your support from your male colleagues, your officers at all levels. And I hope with all of us together, we can make a community which is gender friendly, gender just, where women and men work together, unionize together, empower themselves together, and as a person, and I understand, or I believe myself as a feminist, but I don't think that it is not men against women, but men and women joining together, men and women equally sharing family responsibilities. From today, we start, that is my last thing that I would like to share. Many times when we go and hear speeches, we say that, from next generation, let us start. No, I don't want to say that next generation. Let's start from our own homes, from our own workplaces, towards a gender-friendly, gender-equipped workplace, family, our friends, our children, our community. Wherever I know there will be challenges, but how can we make or bring small changes even in this, large or huge universe that we work together. And I'm happy to see representatives from all over the country, and that too with young mind and capacities and skills. And let us ask for more skills, more capacities, more equity, more rights, and more position on leadership. That could be the biggest challenge that we face. And thank you so much, and I'm very happy to officially inaugurate this conference, Women's Conference of the Federal Bank Women Employees. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you. And Sonia George. We need one fighter umbrella for all the women of the world. That is the essence of his speech. And now we will honor Madam Sonia George on behalf of Federal Bank Employees Union. Please, big a great applause. Okay. Thank you, comrades. Now, our General Secretary of Federal Bank Employees Union, Comrade Sujit Raju, will address.
Dear Comrade Sujata Nagaroi, Chairperson of this Women Convention, and Comrade B. Ramprakash, Joint Secretary of AIBA and General Secretary of All Kerala Bank Employees Federation, beloved Madam Sonia George, is a National Vice President of SEVA and State General Secretary of SEVA, Comrade Ambujam, Convener of FPU Women Council, and my dear leaders and dear comrades. Now today we are very happy and in a
rejoice mood that we could hold our women convention after a long period. It took a long time, 2017 to 2025. As you all know, our last women convention held at Trichur on 2017. Now we are meeting here in 2025. So what is the reason? Comrade Ambujam already in her presentation that situation narrated. From 2016 onwards to almost 2024, last till even, we were on the field only. We all together, not separate women, not separate men, we all together as Federal Bank Employees Union, we fought against the atrocities of the management. That's why we couldn't get a time to hold our women convention. But we hoisted our last All India convention, All India conference, 30th All India conference there in Kottayam, and we deliberated, resolutions were made, and one of the important resolution adopted by the conference is to encourage and mobilize women comrades in the future. As per that decision, the first executive committee meeting of the union held at Alua, we decided to hold immediately women convention. That is what happening today. We are very happy to note that a miniature of India, we can see here, very small size, from Nagaland and from Northeast, from faraway centers, so many comrades, ladies comrades, young comrades are participating our conference. This is very encouraging moment for us. What we thought to hold our women convention in a different pattern, this inaugural session will conclude immediately. Thereafter, we will go for an interactive session. We are going to study who we are, what we are having, what is our right. Without knowing this, we cannot fight against anything. You have to know what is our right. If somebody is trying to infringe or coming to encroach your right, then you first have to understand what is my right. Our predecessors, those who fought like anything, and they secured settlements, 12th bipartite, including 12th bipartite settlement we are enjoying. So from where these all protections, privilege, rights came? We are very happy that Madam Sonia George, we got to inaugurate here today. Madam, her initial remarks pointed out a grave situation which is happening in our country. And our General Secretary also, AKBF General Secretary also highlighted. Yesterday, AIBA General Secretary quoted, it was a Black Friday. Definitely it was a Black Friday. We know what is going to happen in the country through the violation or the dilution of the labor laws. Naturally, we have to equip to resist it. But government is more powerful and they went ahead, more way they went. But we have to move collectively. This is a right time. Madam rightly pointed out all these things. Coming to our bank, Madam asked one question, whether you are feeling any pressure in your bank. I think 2 or 3 of our comrades tried to raise their hand, but nobody raised their hand. Why? It is because of Federal Bank Employees Union. It is because of Federal Bank Employees Union only our comrades, men's and women's, all are protected. We are watching as a watchdog in our bank. Now we are having the experience, our management. Always, from the beginning itself, they were taken a stand. It is not always employee friendly. Always attacks were there. But we could able to overcome those challenges. That was a wonderful experience among us. Comrade Pradima Narasimha Pujari, she is with us. Management suspended her. Management transferred her. Management tried to harass her. Union stood as a unity, all for one, one for all. Like we stood and we could able to challenge the management and Pradima Pujari. We undertook so many agitations, including Vahana Jadas, candlelight protest almost everywhere, nook and corners in the country. This story is some long back. I met some of our new comrades, less than 1 year service or nearer to 1 year service or 2 year service. They may not be aware about the fight undertaken by the Federal Bank Employees Union. We conducted so many agitation, and once management targeted our lady comrades, particularly union rose to the situation and we taken that challenge. Ultimately, management came and discussed, issue was settled, Comrade Pradima Pujari was reinstated. She is now working in Mumbai region. She is with us, she is here. She is our executive committee member. Not only Comrade Pradima Pujari, even Comrade Sri Vidya and other comrades. What was the situation before us? That management, they want all type of, as like a private management, in Federal Bank also, they want cheap labors in bank. Cheap labor. What they are thinking that you are paying more salary, you are enjoying more your benefits. So why we have to give more salary to them? Why we want to give the maternity benefit to them? If they are taking some contract employees, outsourced employees, this duty will be due by them now. So now at present in our bank, some changes are coming. We are watching very seriously on those things. We were on agitation before last year. We were on agitation and we conducted so many programs. Management tried to stop our programs with some court orders. Once a time, union also was in a dilemma, in a stuck situation, how to decide. We announced the day dharnas. Management went to approach the court, and the court has given the order. And we were in a situation, in a tough situation to how to proceed. If we are going for a strike, giving the notice for within 14 days notice period, management will invoke the section 22 and the conciliation will start, then they will approach the court. Then we were in a difficult situation and boldly we taken a stand, we will hold our programs in holidays. What I use that word boldly means in Federal Bank, agitation means only on working days only. We will agitate. But now the management, they try to shows those agitations before the court. These all are illegal agitations. Like that, we decided our programs in holidays. Inspiringly, with breaking all our expectations, our lady comrades came with their children and their family. These sight shaken the management. Ultimately, they came for the discussion. Now, through all out our programs, our lady comrades, whether it is joined earlier or new comrades, there was no separation on that. All our comrades joined in our all agitations. That is what we are now discussing with the management. Naturally, you may have some question in your mind. What is the discussion you are doing? Last 1 year, you are telling that you are discussing. There is no solution is coming. No solution. What you are discussing? You are not telling anything. But I will tell you what is our demands. 2 of our comrades were dismissed from the service with very flimsy reasons. It's a vindictive action only from the management side. They tried to contain the union. They stopped furnishing the details of check of details. So many things, you know, fundamental issues. Demands are there. And the internal settlement also, that was due. Our monetary aspect, loans, allowance, like that, that part also there. And while on our agitation, management attacked on our transfer policy. Here in Federal Bank only, we can say a transparent transfer policy is existing. Nobody having their own hand in that transfer policy. Management cannot violate the transfer policy. They cannot overlook the seniority of our comrades. With the eligibility, a transparent transfer policy defined here in Federal Bank. Now, management, what they are saying that they are having the super authority, power over service conditions, so they can transfer members. Likewise, they transferred some of our members. We agitated, and they came for the discussion. We met MD, new MD came. He's from Kotak Bank, but he invited us. We met him last week also. 2 days before, he invited and met him, and he advised the HR department to discuss with us. The discussions are going on. What is the important thing? Other issues, the initially disciplinary matters and the fundamental matters of the union, recruitment should be there. So many things are covering in our internal settlement, not only our benefits and these loans and benefits. All other things are there. Recruitment should be there. Clerical, sub-staff, part-time super recruitment has to be there. Every time in our settlement, we are ensuring that. And in the departments, there are so many vacancies are there. So bank has to post permanent hands there. So many things that was there in our discussion. So now, I cannot tell all the things, but I'll tell you one thing. Our comrades suffered a lot. Comrade Manu, Comrade Sumit Nambiar, they were out of the service. But we will ensure both of will come to the service. And other things, unilaterally things done by the management, including the check of details and all other things, that also will be, that is going to rectify. And our allowances and loans, you don't worry, we already taken care of that. We had a discussion, we discussed, and it is almost finalized. I'll tell you, it will be come to over your expectation. With this, whether we can conclude? Okay, now all other things they agreed and immediately you conclude. But a small issue is there. One small issue, transfer. They will do all other these things, but they want some inclination from the union to transfer our members to some distance, 100, 150. Outside Kerala, 300 kilometers, likewise only. Kerala, 100. One proposal they given, and blatantly we rejected. And the second proposal is with me. I'm not going to publish here, but a second proposal which they given, that is with me. MD called us and he was explaining us the Blackstone investment, what is the peculiarity on the Blackstone investment. It is very different from the investment happened in the other CSB bank or RBL bank, like that. He tried to convince us it is a very good thing. Let's see whether it is good or bad. We will see. But he assured us that we will protect everything. Bank's character, this I wrote in the EGM communication. This is my circular. He printed out and given to us, and he read to us. And we told one thing only. Changes are okay. But if that changes are coming, that should protect the character of our bank, firstly. And secondly, the implication coming upon our members, like other investment and other banks. We have examples. CSB Bank, we are having the examples. If these strategies, changes are going to impact on our members, we will reciprocate immediately. There is no doubt about that. But we are seeing. And we asked to management, MD, on the discussion, so many things he told. We have to grow our capital, bank's share has to improve, so many things he told. Okay, we heard everything. And we asked him only one thing. Not only one thing, initially one thing. We asked MD whether the most important thing, agenda for the management to transfer award staff from one branch to another branch. Then, oh, that means we are having important things, but this is somewhat something important, like that. So we told that there is no compromise on the transfer policy. There is a well-defined transfer policy. There is no quid pro quo discussion, nothing. We will say our members. We told to CHR also, we will say our members, management agreed on other items, including their monetary loans, car loan, housing loan. Good amounts are there. I am not going to tell you. Car loan, housing loan, allowances, good allowance, good jump is there. So management is thinking that if our members are getting some paisa, some improvement, they will be very happy. So unfortunately, they misunderstood our members that I am very confident. I am asking you whether we can sign the settlement now, compromising on our transfer policy. You will get more housing loan. You will get more allowances. Car loan is very good. So this is what Federal Bank Employees Union, we will protect our everything. This is what the simple answer to you. Why the settlement is not there? We cannot. Now settlement will come when means management has to go back from their proposal and they have to sign the settlement with the union. That's the only solution. We told them we can discuss upon transfer policy in the cluster, inside the cluster. But nothing other than that. Now they are giving some proposals, new proposals. So if I am publishing that proposal, the situation will be very difficult. So what the union is feeling that we are capable. Union is capable to handle this situation. They are bargaining with the union to get the extract maximum from our side. Because they are solving most important issues, no? Very, very important issues they are going to resolve. So something management wants. This is what. So let's see. Let's see what is the development happening in coming days. If the management is going back from their proposal, definitely, immediately, next day, settlement will come. Otherwise, if they are sticking upon this point, we will release a circular accordingly. So then you will prepare to meet that challenges. That is a position now. I am not going to elaborate further upon that matter. Anyway, this is a important forum according to union. This is a very important forum. We are having confidence. We are having the focus that union can able to mobilize more than 1,000 comrades here. That you also understand. You can we can mobilize more than 1,000 or 1,500 comrades we can mobilize here. But the number of the comrades attending in this conference is very contained manner, very less, 200, 250 only. That also you selected from the regional general body meetings, 5 comrades only selected. What is the purpose? What is the need? Because while meeting and we are making some speeches and you are hearing and some compliments also given, no? Good sari is there, bag is there, and good accommodation will get, and today evening some more cultural program, something will be there. Okay, you enjoy it. But ultimately, you should understand. We all are working class. We all are part of the working class. We are earning our salary by selling our work, our effort. This is a principle of all workers. That is what we are together with the working class. We are striking. All India strike with all trade unions. We are working class. So the more challenges are coming, not only in our bank, even in the banking industry and as a in the country as a globe. So many challenges are coming. So we have to nurture and modify, and we have to get more comrades more leaders from your side. I am very much confident that the capable leaders are here. You are already working in different forums of your state, our state federation and our union also. Now, give away your hesitations. Come forward. Take this red flag. We all are with you. We will back up you. We will. I am very confident that after this conference, you will get a renewed energy for moving forward. We hope this conference will meaningfully we can conclude. So with this, greetings, I am concluding.
Thank you. Comrade Sujit Raju, General Secretary. Next, I am inviting Comrade Pinky S., Assistant Secretary, AKBF. Comrade Pinky.
Dear Chairperson, FBU Women's Council, Sujata Nahar Roy, and Seva, State General Secretary Sonia George, AIB Joint Secretary B. Ramprakash, FBU Women's Council Convener P. Ambujam, General Secretary FBU Sujit Raj, Chal Thakur, Shabija Madam, and all leaders and my dear friends. First of all, I would like to congratulate Prajita, Ramya, and Vimal for wonderfully conducting this program. I am here not to deliver a speech, but share some thoughts. I appreciate all Chansi Ranis. I would like to say the word Chansi Rani. Chansi Rani is here for your commitment towards union and your banking, etc. I am standing here to draw energy from you. Not deliver a speech, but draw energy from you to sharpen my trade union activity. Audible now? I am audible. All of you know, number of women employees are much higher when compared to employees 2 decades before. In this modern era of crony capitalization, we women employees have to play a vital role in trade union activity as well as in banking activity. Now, as our Ramprakash sir said, our government wants public banks to be privatized and private banks to be foreignized. We need to remind government that people's interest should come before corporate interest. Due to globalization, fast technological changes, and righteous competition, corporate sector is under pressure. This makes them to push government to frame policies in the name of national development. I think all of you know all these things. Recently, our Finance Minister, Nirmala Sitharaman, highlighted 2 points. First, that although in 1969, bank nationalization helped increase in priority sector lending, it did not fully achieve financial inclusion. That Nirmala Sitharaman said. Second, she argued that complete government control over public sector banks made them less professional and less efficient. She believes that it is possible to balance efficiency with national and social goals, and that bringing in private and semi-private management will not harm financial inclusion. However, these viewpoints raise a serious concern for mass banking in India. This argument shows that government is heavily dependent on data provided by financial service providers themselves. To understand the real situation faced by ordinary people, there must be strong surveys, customers' feedback, and more ground-level data collection. Relying on corporate-driven data can give only a misleading picture. According to Asia Competitiveness Institute, National University of Singapore, PSB had about 391.6 million Jan Dhan accounts, while private banks had only 14.2 million Jan Dhan accounts. Public sector banks also have a far wider presence in rural and financially excluded area. In a survey-based study, customers of PSB showed higher awareness and usage of banking service compared to customers of private banks. This means PSBs are not just opening accounts. They are helping people actually use banking service, which is a real goal of financial inclusion. It is a dream of every Indian that India should become a developed nation. It is not merely the vision of ruling government. The trade union also share their aspiration as they work to protect workers' rights and ensure decent jobs and dignified lives without exploitation. A responsible government must expand and strengthen the banking system so that it reaches the lower strata of the society, acknowledging ground-level reality rather than ignoring them. It is the responsibility of trade union, progressive group to oppose the planned movement to consolidate and privatize public sector banks, institutes that are essential for an industry and developing nation. Can we make changes? Is it all possible? You believe? Can we make changes? Do you believe? Ms. Neha Madam told that we have multiple jobs, we have household activity and all those things. We have so many jobs. We have to care our children, all those things. That's there. Is it possible to change the world? Do you believe? Some people say yes, some people say. It is because of the people who question the existing system that we have achieved all the progress. We fought for independence. We gained independence. It is because of the fighting people. May I tell a story? No response from the audience. Yes. But it is not a story. It is happening in Iceland. It's not a story. In 1975, October 25, women in Iceland took a day off from their all paid jobs. They took a day off not from their paid jobs, but also they abstained from their household activity, and they abstained from child care, and they abstained from nursery jobs, and all things collapsed for one day. All things collapsed. More than 90% of the women in Iceland took part in that strike. They took to street to protest wage discrepancy and to demonstrate, to show how vital their input to society and their government and their society. The protest is also known as a Women's Day Off. The protest is happening in 1975 in Iceland. They protest aiming to bring attention to unfair employment practice. In the following year, Iceland government passed a law aiming to equalize women's and men's rights. History is full of such examples. There is nothing that organized sector, especially women's strength, can't achieve. I hope that you should, I hope and I want to assure that you should all take energy, you should all draw energy from this conference, and should you all gather knowledge about your service conditions, your do's and don'ts, and you should fight with that energy against anti-labor policy, against the atrocities of management. I hope you can do all these things. You are very capable persons. You can do all these things. With these words, I conclude. Thank you.
Thank you. Comrade Pinky. Then now we are also privileged, and we will honor Comrade Pinky S. I will invite our comrades. Please come, Ambujam Srividya, and this is the time to honor. Madam. Thank you. Now, I am inviting Comrade Sabina H., Assistant Secretary, AKBF.
Respected dignitaries on the dais and dear comrades, I am profoundly happy to have got an opportunity to participate in the Women's Convention here at Palakkad and exchange a few words. എനിക്ക് ഇംഗ്ലീഷിലൊന്നും വലിയ പിടിയില്ല, അതുകൊണ്ട് വലിയ പ്രസംഗത്തിനൊന്നും പ്രസക്തിയില്ല. I know. Foregone are the days when women were subject to oppression, denying fundamental rights. Some believed that it is the custom to be followed. Many male gender which come forward for the uplift of the women folk. Besides Sri Narayana Guru Ayyangale in Kerala, women leaders like Akkamma Cheriyan, Kuttimalu Amma, etc. raise their voice against these atrocities in the society. In Kerala, the drama written by V.T. Bhattathiripad, that is Adukkalayil Ninna Arangathekku, from kitchen to open space, sparkled a social reform movement and led to women empowerment, especially in Kerala. They fought against patriarchy, forced marriage to elderly man, need for education, etc. Actually, it was a clash between tradition and modernity. Now, we don't feel much sufferings. That's we have got a trade union, a strong trade union in our sector also. But the trade union laws are now reformed. But challenges are still the low female labor force participation compared to education level, gender-based violence and safety concerns, wage disparities in traditional sectors, overburden of unpaid care work, some of them. Comrades, we must understand that women are not just beneficiaries, but drivers of socio-economic development. We have to go ahead miles, no time to rest. Our development story is incomplete without recognizing the pivotal role of its women participation. I stop here. Thank you all for hearing me. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, we will honor Comrade Sabina H. Please come, madam. This side. Yes. On behalf of Federal Bank Women's FBU Women Wing, we are honoring Comrade Sabina. Please give a big hand. So many coffees, drinks, snacks are served by your comrades. Please. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Now, our FBU Vice President, Comrade Srividya PV.
Convener of today's convention, Comrade Sujata Naharoy. Our Women Council convener, Comrade Ambujam. our General Secretary, Comrade Sujit Raju, our AKBF General Secretary, Comrade Ram Prakash, and all other leaders on the dais and off the dais, and all the delegates who are attending this convention. So I think many young comrades are there this time for the convention. In the union's EC meeting, or the meeting we had decided, the first resolution, the first meeting, it was decided to hold a women convention. Then it was also thought that we should break the barriers, not like the earlier years. We want more women to come forward and take roles, and more responsibilities should be taken by women employees. So we thought of, that was what was decided. From each region, we are selected some persons only. That is, the number was limited. So what union wants, or we expect, more women comrades should come forward. You all know, number of persons, Vishal told that we are more number women comrades are there in our Federal Bank. So can we rest or just sit that our male colleagues are there? They are working, they are doing so much sacrifices. We can't say what they are doing, how much work they are undertaking. Can we just take rest and sit? Okay, let them do. Let them do all the demonstrations or whatever is doing. Can't we devote some time for that also? About the priority list, whenever we say about the demonstrations or the strike programs or other programs called by our union or AKBF or AABA, we should try to involve or gather in the programs that are done in our areas, at least in our areas. It's not possible for us to go for all the places, but at least try to give some time. There are so many priorities in our life, but at least 15 minutes. We are here in the bank just because of our union. Rightly said, as our General Secretary had told. In the earlier years, Federal Bank was not employing women comrades. Women were not employed in our bank. And if you are getting employment, you cannot marry. That was the condition in our bank earlier. From there, we are here with 44% women employees in our bank. So it is our responsibility. The union is giving us so much privileges, or what are privileges we are enjoying now. It is just because of our Federal Bank Employees Union. I think you don't have any another thing to say. It is just because of our union. We have a privileged time, working hours. You are coming at 10 o'clock, leaving the office by 5 o'clock. Who is ensuring your work-life balance? I would say that word. That is more used nowadays. So work-life balance is ensured just because of our union, our organization, and it is our responsibility to take some role, or we should come forward to devote at least some time for our union. Will you come, or are you all ready? This conference, this convention is merely, it is trying to motivate more and more women to come forward. So I think it's a pan-India. No? Many people have come from all over the country. तो सब लोग रेडी है कि नहीं? सब लोग आगे आएंगे? अपना टाइम थोड़ा और देने के लिए रेडी है कि नहीं? मैं आपसे सुनना चाहती हूँ. नो रिस्पॉन्स. आपसे जो हो सके 5 minutes या 10 minutes or at least 15 minutes you can take and read the circulars or what all the forward messages are coming. Try to read, and at least now in your region, you should be the women leaders in your area. I hope you all will come forward and take these responsibilities. That's a humble appeal from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Comrade Sribigda. What she appealed, this is our experiences. Conference or convention is not for saying only the good things. That is, I think it's a laboratory. We have to taste ourselves. We have to explore ourselves. So, in futures and from today onwards, at least we should encourage our other women comrades, including you all, कि we should give, at least we should cut sometimes from our shopping or mall moving. We have to give some services to the organization. Our next speaker, our President, FBU Employees Union, Comrade Vishal Thakkar.
today's President and our Chairperson, Comrade Sujata Naharoy, our inaugurator, Madam Sonia George, our Chief Guest, Comrade Ram Prakash, our convener, Comrade P.M. Ambujam, our General Secretary, Comrade Sujit Raju, Comrade Pinky, Comrade Sabina, Comrade Srividya, our Secretary, Comrade Sujit, other leaders on the dais, of the dais. Dear comrades, it is immense pleasure to hold this third women convention of Federal Bank Employees Union after a gap of 7 years. And as General Secretary,